Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome to the English class. Today we are going to discuss the chapter number 2 of our English book, that is The Lost Child, written by Mulkraj Anand. But before starting the chapter, let me give you a brief introduction about the author. Mulkraj Anand was an Indian writer in English, notable for his depiction of the lives of the poor in the Indian society. He became known for his novel Untouchable, followed by other works such as Coolie and Two Leaves and a Bud. Anand is admired for his novels and short stories, which have acquired the status of classics of modern Indian English literature. He is also noted for being among the first writers to incorporate Punjabi and Hindi idioms into English and was a recipient of the civilian honor of the Padma Bhushan. The story begins during the Spring Festival, a joyful and colorful time celebrated in villages. From the cold and shadowy winter streets and from the narrow and dark alleys, people begin to come out. Alleys are basically passageways between buildings. And these people were dressed in bright and colorful clothes, bringing life and cheerfulness. Everyone was traveling differently. Some walked, some rode on horses, and some sat in carts pulled either by bamboo poles or by oxen. A small child, the main character of the story, happily ran between his father's legs, full of excitement and energy. There is a phrase brimming over used here. It means that the child was full of happiness and laughter. The parents called the child to keep walking because he kept stopping to look at the toys displayed in the shops on the way to the fair. The child walked toward his parents. His feet followed their order, but his eyes were still looking at the toys that were moving farther away as he walked. When he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, he could not suppress the desire of his heart. He could no longer control what he really wanted. He already knew that his parents would refuse, as they always did, but still he wanted to try. The child begged his parents and said softly, "I want that toy." His father looked at him red eyed. The word red eyed here shows the irritation and the anger of the father. His father became angry and gave him a strict, commanding look like a strict ruler. His mother, being soft and tender, gently held his hand and distracted him by showing something interesting ahead instead of scolding him. And it was a beautiful mustard field. Before the child stretched a beautiful mustard field, glowing pale like melting gold and spreading endlessly across the flat land. Bright purple dragonflies danced in the air, sometimes blocking the path of a lonely bee, or butterfly that searched for sweetness in the flowers. The child watched them with full fascination. Whenever one dragonfly stopped to rest, he quickly moved forward, trying to catch it. But before his little hands could close around it, the dragonfly fluttered its wings and flew away. Just then his mother gently warned him, saying, "Come, child, come, walk on the footpath." The child laughed and ran back to his parents, walking happily beside them. But soon he fell behind again, distracted by tiny insects and worms that had come out to enjoy the warm sunshine. "Come, child, come," his parents called from the cool shade of a grove where they had sat near a well. The child ran towards them. As he entered the grove, a shower of soft young flowers fell on him. Forgetting his parents completely, he began collecting the falling petals in his hands. But suddenly he heard the gentle cooing of doves. Excited, he ran towards his parents, shouting, "The dove! The dove!" And the petals slipped out of his hands. Again his parents called, "Come, child, come." The parents walked around a big banyan tree. They held the child close and took a small curving path that went through yellow mustard fields. This path led to the fair. When they got closer to the village, the child saw many small paths. All these paths were crowded with people who were walking to the fair. It looked like everyone was moving towards the same busy place. The child felt two things at the same time: repelled and fascinated. Repelled and scared because it was noisy and crowded, and he felt fascinated because everything looked interesting and new. Near the entrance of the fair, a sweet seller loudly called out the names of sweets like gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, and jalebi to attract customers. Many people gathered around his shop to buy sweets. The sweets were arranged in tall, colorful piles. They looked shiny because they were decorated with silver and gold leaves. The child looked at the sweets with wide eyes. His mouth was filled with water because barfi was his favorite sweet and he really wanted to eat it. The child quietly said that he wanted barfi. But he already knew his parents would not listen to his request. They would think he was being greedy for asking for more sweets. He didn't wait for his parents to reply. He walked ahead without insisting. Now the child saw a flower seller who was selling garlands made of gulmohar flowers. The child felt very attracted. He went near the basket full of flowers and softly said he wanted the garland. But the child already knew his parents would not buy the garland for him. He thought that his parents would say that flowers would dry quickly and were a waste of money. Again, he did not wait for his parents' reply. He simply walked ahead with them. The child now saw a balloon seller with many colorful balloons tied to a long stick. The child became totally amazed by the bright and shiny colors of the balloons. He felt a very strong wish to have all the balloons. He wished he could have all the balloons, but he knew his parents would not let him buy balloons either. The child knew that his parents would tell him that he was now too grown up to buy such kind of toys. Then he saw a man playing a flute, trying to make a snake dance. The snake coiled itself in a basket. The snake was sitting in a basket, bending its head beautifully like a swan. The child went closer to watch, but he remembered that his parents did not allow him to stand near snake charmers. So the child walked ahead again. Then there was a roundabout in full swing. A roundabout is actually a round platform that turns round and round and has model animals on it for children to ride on. People of all ages were enjoying the ride as it went round and round. The child saw people having fun and begged his parents to let him ride the roundabout. But his parents did not answer him. The child looked around and suddenly realized his parents were not near him anymore. He checked behind him but still couldn't find them. The child suddenly began to cry loudly because he was scared. His throat felt dry and he quickly moved from his place, calling out for his parents in fear. Tears flowed down his cheeks. His face turned red because he was extremely frightened. He was completely panicked. He ran here and there to search for his parents. He cried loudly again, calling for his mother and father. The child cried while running. His yellow turban became loose and his clothes became dirty. He ran near a big temple nearby. And though there were so many people pushing him, he tried very hard to move through them. The crowd pushed him around and he felt weak and helpless. He cried, "Father, Mother!" He started shouting loudly for his parents. A man in the crowd heard his cries and picked him up to help him. The man asked where he had come from and who his parents were. The child cried even harder and kept repeating that he only wanted his mother and father. The man tried to soothe him by taking him to the roundabout. The man gently tried to comfort the little boy. He lifted him up and walked towards the roundabout. In a soft voice, he asked, "Will you have a ride on the horse?" But the child was so distressed. His throat trembled with loud, sharp sobs. He cried out again and again, "I want my mother. I want my father." Seeing the child still upset, the man took him towards the snake charmer. The flute played a sweet musical tune as the cobra swayed from side to side. The man said kindly, "Listen to that nice music, child." But the little boy shut his ears tightly with his fingers. He cried even louder, "I want my mother, I want my father." Still trying his best to distract him, the man took the child to the balloons. Bright, colorful balloons floated in the air, red, yellow, green, and blue. The man asked gently, "Would you like a rainbow colored balloon?" But the child only looked away. Tears rolled down her cheeks as he sobbed softly, "I want my mother, I want my father."